Is it finally time? It's finally time. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are finally here with my blind reaction to Ninja 2. This is a movie that I've been waiting for since it came out, and especially since I saw the first movie. Um, I reacted to the first movie here on the channel, and it became like an instant favorite of mine. It was just so, like, shockingly well made. Not just from the visuals and the um, just overall vibe of it, the stylisticness, but like the story, the characters, the heart and emotion, everything about it was just that good. And the sequel came out, and not only did it shatter expectations, but it became the highest grossing animated movie of all time. It destroyed expectations. And yes, I know part that is partly just due to the size and population of China, and that like it got so much attention because of that, and it's like that's what boosted it. Because China's huge and has a lot of people in it, a shit ton of people. And so it's like they that's what made it as big as it was. But then it started coming out in America in theaters, and people went to go see it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is as good as everyone is saying overseas. This is absolutely deserving of being the highest grossing movie in the or highest grossing animated movie of all time. And so I'm like waiting and waiting and waiting because this came out in theaters in America, I think, I want to say back in March or something. And so I'm like waiting and waiting for this to come to digital and streaming. And then they announced there's going to be a A24 dub with some pretty notable cast members. And I'm like, okay, cool. But when's it coming to digital and streaming? Well, the dub recently came to theaters, and it was shortly after announced that it would be coming to like places like Amazon Prime and stuff. And it eventually has. But there's a little caveat, and it's really interesting, I guess. On Amazon Prime, from what I could tell, it's only the dub. They only brought the dub to Amazon Prime. And I don't know if that's just because of a deal that was made with A24. I don't know if it's something else. But it was only the dub. And I was looking at other places that this is available digitally. And it looks like, I wasn't able to like fully confirm it, but it looks like the original Chinese is available on um, Google Play. And it's been available digitally outside of America, like mostly, I guess, in China, for a while now. So I guess it's okay to react to at this point. It's like I am reacting to the sub just to specify that and make that clear. Um, Not because I think the dub will be bad, although the dub in the first movie wasn't that great. Though with A24 doing it, it'll probably be better this time. But I'm doing the sub because that's just how I want to watch this. I did the sub for the first movie. I want to do it for this one. And so hopefully this will all be good. Hopefully we'll be okay with this. Um, we'll see how it goes down. But hopefully with the way I do things anyways, I don't put stuff up on like YouTube itself anyway. Hopefully that helps. Gotta hate YouTube's copyright bullshit, you know? But let's talk about it. So obviously, like I said, I got like really obsessed with Nisha since I saw the first one. For those who may not know, I am autistic and I do tend to hyperfixate on things that I really like. And so, like, obviously, I got this shirt. You can't see it, but on my computer, there's a sticker, and it's like I'm like I've been really excited for this because everybody who's seen it says that it's like far and away so much better than the first, and these are people who loved the first, but they're saying the second one is like notably better, and that's like almost incomprehensible to me. Because it's like, how do you get that much better than the first one? I mean, I guess we'll find out, but um, this is a movie that I am just like really, really excited for because the first one was like just so endearing. It endeared me so much to Neja, to Albing, and just all the action was really cool. The animation, it's like there was some good comedy, some really fun um, dramatic sequences, and to a point, there were some things that you could say are maybe a little generic, have been done before, and everything. You know, tropes. There were definitely some tropes in there, like misunderstandings and the villain lying to the hero to trick them and stuff like that. All kinds of things that were like have been done in the past. But this we have to take into account that this is like not a new story. Like the legend of Nisha is a legend in China, a piece of mythology, and so it's like I assume that for the most part this is how the story goes, and in that case it's like it's not really like just following tropes. It's kind of like doing its own thing in a way at the time that it was originally created. You know what I mean. Um, but yeah, it was really good, and I really really enjoyed it. Give me a second here. And it was just I don't know what the second movie's about. I've seen like a clip or two that circulated around when it was like coming out and whatnot, and when people were talking about it everywhere. Um, but like I don't actually know, other than where the first movie left off, what it's going to be centering around. Because the first movie left off with Ninja and Ao Bing dying. Their physical bodies are gone because they basically had to sacrifice them to, stop the lightning that was coming to take out the Chaos Pearl inside of Ninja. And by extension, Ninja. But it's like they're not dead. Their spirits are still there, and I guess this is gonna at least partially be about them getting their bodies back. Because I know Ninja is shown in like the advertising in his body. So I don't know how long it's gonna take to get to that point, but I know that's at least part of this. But otherwise, I don't really know because it's like again, I saw like I didn't even really see the clip. I just like scrolled past it a couple times. It's like I can't remember what they're called, but it's involving these animals. I know what they are. I'm just blanking on their name. But yeah, it's like I've seen like I've scrolled past that clip a few times on like TikTok and Twitter and stuff. Um, so I know of that, but I don't know like what's happening in it. I just know the clip, the that point of the movie exists. Now, since I reacted to the first Neja movie, I also reacted to let me get this name. That's why I was playing with my phone for a second there. Zhang Ziya. This was another film like made by the same creators and kind of taking place in the same universe. Even had a cameo by Neja in the credits sequence, and yeah, that was pretty good as well. I mean, I didn't like it as much as Neja by any means, but I still very much enjoyed it. And there's kind of another movie within this kind of same realm, and I think by the same creators. And it's a Sung Wukong movie, and I'm thinking of checking that out at some point too. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. All three of them have actually done a commercial together. Actually, I think a couple of them. But there's a notable one that's like this boy band music video, and it's literally just a full ass music video of Wukong, Neja, and uh, the guy from Jingjia. I can't remember his name right now. I don't think that was his name. Um, but it's them just dancing and singing and stuff. Ao Bing is there too, but he doesn't do too much. But yeah, it's goofy and silly and fun and has the actual VAs there and everything. It's a good time. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this movie because, like I said, I've been waiting for it forever, and I feel like now I'm finally able to. And I've been bugged about this too. It's like there's a few people who like have like kept me up to date. It's like, oh, the movie's coming to digital. It's like you can get to it now. It's like, yes, I'm aware. I've been looking out for this too. I have been paying attention. But like people have even like months ago, people had been like, I think leaving comments and stuff saying like asking if I was going to get to Nisha 2 as well, and I think people were like even asking that when I first did the movie because I believe Ninja 2 was already out when I first did the first movie. At least out in China, you know. But yeah, I've been waiting for this just as much as you guys have. I like that I like that you guys are excited for my reaction to it. So hey, that's a positive. But yeah, we're gonna get into this and see what this is about. The link I have been given in terms of like the downloads and everything, I was told that the subtitles are really good because sometimes you can find a copy where the subtitles are a little off and everything. But I was told the subtitles were good. I was told that they're like not like jumbled up and like weirdly worded or anything. So we should be all good on that. So let's get into this and see what this movie has in store for us. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute detail. It was... I mean, what am I supposed to say? That it lived up to expectations? That's not enough. Because it far surpassed expectations. Like the animation was so aggressively better than the first movie, and the first movie's animation was fantastic. But it's like I didn't know it could get that much better. Like I don't know how this might be received. I don't know like what people might think of this statement. This might be In terms of animation, the best animated movie I've seen. Like, I genuinely think this surpasses the likes of Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Even, like, a lot of the really big, like, high production Japanese anime films out there. Because here's the thing. For me, at least, and I want to make this clear, this is my view on it. I'm not saying this as if it's some objective fact. Everything I say here is my subjective opinion. Um, when it comes to 3D animation, I would say that the majority of the time, it doesn't look as good as 2D. I would say that 3D animation, while it has improved greatly, obviously since the days of like Shrek and whatnot, it's it's still always fallen behind. Because with 2D animation, you're able to do a lot more. You're able to do a lot more expressiveness and vibrancy and exciting stylistic choices. And it's only been in just the very recent years that 2D has really began expanding with this, or 3D rather, has really began expanding with this kind of thing. Spider-Verse being a prime example, kind of blending the styles of 2D and 3D with some hyper stylized art direction that really helped it feel unique. And Puss in Boots: Last Wish does this as well. A lot of it does come down to, frame rate decisions, how you like utilize that within the animation to allow for some really unique styles. But there's more to it than that too. I'm not like the most knowledgeable about how animation is made. Like, I couldn't tell you the ins and outs of how like 3D animation is like done within programs and stuff. But I feel like, just like hand drawn animation, it takes a long time. That much is like common knowledge, but like there is so much effort put into even the movies like Shrek and Megamind and others back in the day that weren't necessarily as great by today's standards, but there's still so much that are even put into movies of that quality. And again, I'm just talking animation here specifically. But now in 2025, like over 20 years after Shrek came out, it's like this Chinese studio is putting out a movie this fucking gorgeous. Like I talked about it at multiple points in the movie. The water is like a huge litmus test to judge animation by. Water, I have found, is one of the hardest things to get right. And this not just includes 3D animated movies, but it includes 2D, it includes cartoons and anime, it includes video games, it includes any kind of like visual medium like this. Water animation is so hard to get right. It is so hard to make it look really good because it's so specific. Water is like has a very specific way of moving, has a very specific way of like ebbing and flowing, and it has a very specific look to it when it does. And even some of the best games out there just don't get that right. And it's hard for like these games, these movies to really nail that. I honestly genuinely believe that this movie nailed it. Like even the first one, even the first Nisha movie wasn't perfect with it. It was great, like especially compared to a lot of other things, but it still like could have improved quite a bit. And this improved that. But it's not just that, it's the expressions. I've always talked about how I love expressive animation and how I love it when these characters are allowed to showcase such a wide range of facial animations. And this did so phenomenally at that. All of these characters were so expressive and beautifully got like their moods, their attitudes, their personalities across just with their faces. And that's so awesome every time like a film does that. But on top of that, you also have the more stylistic moments in the movie, like at the end there, where it like did the super stylized, like almost comic booky style with Neja's attack. It's like, God, that was so cool. Anytime a movie or show or whatever does something like that, it's like the coolest fucking thing. I always go back to One Piece as like the prime example of that. It's done it a couple times now, but the first time it did it was in the Shabandi arc, when Luffy punched Saint Charlos. And it's not always done like it does in One Piece, where it like goes black and white and kind of sketchy style, because it didn't do that here. It just went super stylized and like hyper like animated, for lack of a better word. It was just so like exceedingly like detailed. There was so much effort put into like those few frames of animation. It felt like, I'd say the entire budget went to that, but the entire movie looked phenomenal. So it's like, I can't even say that. It's just like they put all their effort into making that specific shot look as phenomenal, as amazing as possible. And it's not just the animation. Obviously, you have the score, which is phenomenal. It's just like every bit of music fit perfectly. You have the voice acting, which like was already like, again, amazing in the first movie, but the VAs really feel like they understand the characters a lot more, and they're able to like really nail these voices even more than they did in the first one. You have just the overall like vibe to the film. I don't know how else to put it. It's just like, it's one of those movies where even just not thinking about the story, the writing, the dialogue, etc., just in terms of just watchability, in terms of enjoyment, in terms of, entertainment value. It's like this movie was so fun to watch, so exciting to watch. And the pacing never felt off. With a movie that's almost 2.5 hours, you do have to question that. You do have to wonder. It's like, okay, is this going to feel longer than it is? Is this movie going to feel like it's dragging? Is it going to feel like it's, hell, rushing it? In some cases, movies have that problem too. How is this movie going to feel while watching it in terms of its pacing? It was perfect. Like, at no point did I like wonder about like, oh, is this like getting to the end or anything. I noted the timing at one point, like mentioning that like at that big climactic like sad scene, it's like, oh, we have like an hour left, or just under an hour. So I was only mentioning that at that point because I was like, we were at this hugely important, impactful scene. And I wanted to note that it's like, oh, we have a lot of time to get through this, to like address all of this stuff. The movie's not over yet, even if it feels like it could be. Like, it's so good. But then you do have to talk about the writing and the dialogue. And I know that some people are going to bring up, oh, but there's like fart humor and stuff in this. It's like, doesn't that bother you? Normally it would. I am not a fan of that kind of humor standardly, because I find it to be like the kind of lowest form of humor. I find it to be like annoying and just stupid. It's not funny to me. And I wouldn't even say it was funny in this. But I feel like this movie would have felt out of place without it. Is that weird to say? That feels like Neja. Like his character. That it feels like that kind of humor needs to exist with his character. At least based on how these movies have portrayed him. It feels like it just wouldn't work without it. Even if I still don't find it funny, I find it necessary. Because remember, it's not only that he's a 3-year-old kid, but he's also a fucking immature 3-year-old kid. He's a dumbass. And we love him for that. But he is a dumbass. He's not like Al Bing, who is extremely mature at 3 years old. You know, God powers and shit, basically. He is a kid. And yeah, he still acts older than 3, but he is still a kid. And so I expect that kind of humor because he's a kid, because it makes sense. And the rest of the humor that was in this is good. One of the jokes that they had in the first movie that they did bring back, honestly, a couple times in this, was the entire, like, hit me, don't hit me thing. It's like, yeah, well, come and get me, come and hit me, right in the face. And then they actually, like, break through and stuff. It's like, oh, don't hit me, please. It's like that kind of idea and stuff. And, like, the physical humor of it, I do find funny. Even at the end, where they're beating the shit out of the dude, it's like, I found that funny. Also very deserved, but I thought it was well handled in a way to where it felt like it was actually, you know, comedic. Because it could be done in a bad way, but I think it's, like, done well here. As for the characters, it's like, the characters that we knew from the first one, like, were just as great in this one, if not better. They were, like, so well handled. They were so, like, fun to watch, so exciting, so lovable. Ninja himself is, like, still, like, absolute baby. I love him so goddamn much. Ao Bing is just as good. Ninja's parents are good. Ao Bing's father, Ao Guang, I didn't have a hugely strong feeling of him in the first movie, but he was kind of like, you know, not too great towards his son. But God, this movie changed my view on him completely without making it feel like they just completely, like, changed his character. It felt natural. And the same with, like, Shen Gangbao. His development and growth in this felt natural, like getting to, like, learn about his clan and his family. Also, his brother died, right? Like, I read that right, correct? His younger brother did die. His father, we find out, survived in the end, but his brother was killed by the arrow wound, right? Also, fucking everybody in Chengtang Pass was killed. All of those people from the first movie, the people we saw early into this movie, they're just fucking dead. Jesus fucking Christ, this movie was dark. Like, that's something as well that we have to touch on. This movie was fucking horrifying. Like, there was, like, horror-level deaths in this. Like, seeing that entire scene with all the lava, like, destroying Chengtang Pass and killing all these people, it's like, Jesus Christ. I assume that's how the legend goes and all, but Jesus fucking Christ. Because we knew these characters from the first film and everything. We even got to see a bit of them here. You have the musicians. We didn't see him here, but there's the guy who has, like, the feminine voice. He didn't return in this one, weirdly enough. I'm almost a little disappointed by that, but it's not a big deal. It's just, I noticed that. But, like, even the kids, the bullies who, like, at the beginning of this, like, pledged to become his followers, Neja's followers and all, they're dead. They're children. We even saw, like, the, like, literal burnt corpses of these children on the roof with their mother, and it's like, Jesus fuck. We even saw how that happened. It made a point of showing how that happened. Why? Why did you need to fuck me up that bad? Like, I don't think I, like, reacted super strongly in the reaction because I tend to, like, I don't react super strongly a lot of the times. I'm not, like, extremely emotive and everything. I was so in shock, though. It's like, I don't think I could have actually properly emoted there. I don't think I could have properly, like, been, like, freaked out and scared and, like, horrified. Because I was just so, like, my entire body was in shock. Like, physical, emotional shock at that. And it's like now, after the fact, after the movie's done, I can properly express that a little better. But in the moment, I was just like, I was like flabbergasted. I was stunned that they went there. It's like it's one thing for like Nisha's mother to sacrifice herself near the end. It's like that. I I see that. That's the kind of like self-sacrifice this kind of movie would do. But everyone there is dead. Every single person, except well, the ones we know survived. But like that's only three people who were actually inhabitants of Chungtang Pass. Because we can't count the demon water guy. I don't remember his name. I just don't. I'm sorry. We can't count him because he was basically an invader and then a prisoner. And Shengang Bao survived in the end, but he was also not a inhabitant of Chengtong Pass. The only actual like inhabitants of it that survived were Neja and his parents. Everyone else there was killed. Jesus fucking Christ, movie? Like, what the fuck? But it's like, it's more than that, too, because you're also like you're wiping out Shengang Bao's clan and his brother. It's like, you saw, like, a lot of people, like, being, like, violently attacked and, like, bleeding and stuff. There were so many deaths in this. It like took like the action and intensity of the first movie and like just quadrupled it. And then it's like obviously continues off of like the cliffhangers of where we left off before with the dragons and everything. We're introduced to this new main villain who we don't know is the villain at first. At least I didn't catch on to that. Though, like I said, I probably should have. I just didn't. Because, again, so many pieces of media have done that trope. And it's just like, it just did not click with me. The idea did not click with me. Also, I didn't expect that that his direct followers, the leader of the demon hunters, I didn't think they were going to also be demons themselves, like a deer and a crane, literally. It's like, ah, okay. So this asshole's just a hypocrite as well. He reminds me of, like, there's a lot of people in real life who are like this, who have this holier than thou attitude because they're Christian, because they're Republican, because they're, you know, they just feel like they're superior almost by birthright. And so they see everybody else beneath them and they feel like anything that they do is always for the greater good, is always for the betterment of the world. When in reality, it's just an excuse to commit horrible atrocities and disguise it as religion or politics or, you know, patriotism. It's like we're seeing these kinds of people in America right now leading our nation. And it's horrifying. Because as Al Bing said, they're the real evil. They're the bad guys in this. But their holier than thou attitude like prevents them from being able to understand that. They truly see themselves as the good guys, as most villains do. They think that they are in the right. And they think that these sacrifices are worth it. And that's fucked beyond belief. And on top of like the messages that like carry over from the first film about like following your heart and like forging your own path despite what others think of you and stuff, this movie like really nails in the kind of like corrupt leader viewpoint of this all. It really like hammers in that idea, and it's like a massive, massive theme that we're supposed to learn. As for whether or not we will, you know how the world is. We're not in good shape, but we can hope at least. And it's just like the plot of this, like specifically like doing these trials and then having to expose and fight against the true villains and everything. Like the climax of this movie was long. It was a long climax. And it's just like it was so good. And we didn't even win in the end. The villains escaped. It set up for a third movie. And I don't know if the third movie's already been like announced and like greenlit and stuff. But there's absolutely got to be a third. I mean, just after how well this one did. This movie did so exceptionally. Again, highest grossing animated film of all time. Like, they've got to make a third at this point. I mean, I assume it's not going to be for years, just like how this one was like 6 years after the last. I assume they're going to take their time with it. And rightly so. Like, as much as I loved this film, I can wait if it means like even higher quality. But once again, I have no fucking clue how they're going to up this. How the fuck are they going to increase the quality after this? It's so fucking like amazing. How do you like improve from here? Like, jeez. And with this ending, with Neja fully taking this unleashed form, completely in control of it, I don't know if like he's going to revert in any way to his like more childish form at any point, or if this is just like how he's going to be from this point forward. But honestly, I don't mind it because it feels like it's a proper like continuation of things. It feels like he's grown, he's matured, he's become stronger, and it feels like a visual representation of that. And so I'm fine with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love his little gremlin energy in the in his childlike form. But again, part of the point of this is we see how much he grows and how much he changes. Like, he is not the same person at the beginning of this film as he is at the end. He's become so much more mature. He's gone through so much, and he's learned so much. And we also have his brothers that we have to bring into the next film. They're going to obviously be a big deal. I'm still not 100% sure. They're not his like biological brothers, right? Like his parents as we know them weren't also their parents, right? It never actually confirmed that one way or the other. Are they like his parents in terms of like, or his brothers in terms of like more spiritual sense? Like, oh, they're like his brothers, but like because their spirits are connected. Outside of, you know, the demon pill, the demon pearl, or whatever you want to call it. Outside of that, I mean. I don't know. But I'm very curious to see like what kind of role they would have in the third one. There was no like previews or anything for another film in this one, unlike with the last one where we had the preview for Jiang Shiyu. We didn't have that in this one, but I didn't miss it. Just having the one like post credit thing, I'm fine with, because it was a pretty long post credit scene too, and it was all we really would need at this point. But yeah, it's like this was just so well done. The new characters in this, I haven't really talked too much about them too, but like the other dragons had like a very small role in the first one. Getting to see them more and getting to see like the kind of roles they played as well as their personalities. One being just kind of like a weird psychopath, the other one being a dumbass brute, and of course the third one, kind of the leader of the trio, being like this beautiful, conniving, cunning woman. It's just like, yeah, that sounds about right. Of course, the smart one is the woman because, women are smarter, right? I'm fine with that. It's great. Um, but like you even had like Shengang Bao's brother and father, and they were interesting characters. You had just again the new bad guys, and it's just there's just so much to this. It almost feels like it should be overwhelming. Like this genuinely feels like it should be too much. But it just isn't. For one reason or another, it just isn't too much. It's very easily like handleable. Wow, that's not a word. Um it's very easy to handle. It's very easy to like process. Nothing feels like you're being overwhelmed. It's just it's just so good. I genuinely cannot think of anything wrong with this because like I said, even the one thing that I normally would, the stupid fart humor and everything, I feel like needs to be in here. Even if I didn't think it was funny, I think it was necessary and integral to the character in the film. I feel like this movie wouldn't have like worked as well without having that humor. It's part of the identity of this interpretation of the character at least. And that's weird for me to say. I feel almost wrong for saying that. But it's like it just feels so like integral. You also have like the part with like Ao Bing like controlling Neja's body and the face being super fucking weird. It's like cuz it's not quite Ao Bing's face. It's like a combination of the two and it's so weird. It's so weird. And you also have other imagery that's not so much weird, but kind of just like freaky and like uncomfortable, like the skulls screaming in the in the dragon palace and everything. When it's just like, no, I reject everything about that. That is so scary, and I'm not comfortable with it. Or like the heart piercing spell or whatever it was called. Um, Manifesting as like these little like needles all over their body, like these thin needle hairs and everything, and it's just like that's just uncomfortable. Because the thing is, I compared it to wow, my mind is blanking. Acupuncture. I don't know why my mind blanked on that. I compared it to acupuncture, and I still think that's a very fitting comparison. Um, Acupuncture freaks me out. I have never even considered acupuncture, and I don't think I ever would because it freaks me out. Just dozens of little needles lining your skin. Like, ugh, ugh. I don't do well with like syringe needles, like for like getting shots and stuff. I'm not like great at that. I'm better than when I was a kid, but I'm still not great at that. Like it was still very icky, for lack of a better word, when I had to get like my COVID shots and stuff. But it's just like those like lining of needles all across like their skin. It's just like, oh, that is uncomfy. I don't like that. It just gives me the willies. I mentioned in the reaction, it's like I'm like having shivers go all throughout my body, and it's like, ugh, not a fan, not a fan at all. Just very uncomfy. But yeah, this movie did so much. It did like so much in terms of the animation, the story, the characters, the action, the just everything. And I'm just like blown away by how much better this was than the first. Because again, I made it very clear when I watched the first movie, I fucking adored the movie. Again, I bought this shirt because of how much I love the movie. I and a sticker, which again is on my computer, but you can't see it right now because it's like right by my keyboard, mouse pad, and all that. So it's like not really a way to show that off. But it's like I I fucking adore the first film. I've watched it multiple times. I've watched that music video I told you about, the boy band esque music video with Sung Wukong and the guy from Jiu as well. I've watched that dozens and dozens of times. I'm not even kidding you. I have watched that so fucking many times. I have a problem. But like I said, I'm autistic. I do tend to hyperfixate on things I really like. It's not even just this. It's like there's been other things that I've been hyper focused on lately. Um, One big example lately has been Metaphor Refantasio. I've been playing that on my own time, and I've been like really hyper fixated on that. But like other video games and stuff, I've been like really into like Dragon Age, The Veilguard, and obviously Dan to Dan season 2 has been doing that for me. It's just like there's been so much good media lately, or at least that I've been checking out lately. Some of it's older, mind you, but you know. But this is just like I'm in shock at how good this was, because like I said, I didn't think the first movie could be improved on that much. Like I didn't like consider the first movie perfect, but it was close as fuck to such. It's like it had a couple things I felt like could be improved, and like I said, everything was improved in this. But like I wasn't kidding at the beginning of these afterthoughts when I said that I find this to be perfect. If this movie made me okay with fart humor, like yeah, that's pretty fucking good to make me okay with fart humor. Like that's saying a lot, actually, because that is my least favorite form of humor, like by far. So the fact that this made me like not only okay with it actually, but actually feeling it's like a necessity for this film, feeling like it's required for this film to work, that's insane. And then with everything else, it's just I genuinely consider this a perfect film. And I'll be fully open with you here. This could be recency bias talking. I will fully acknowledge that. And as such, will not like add this onto my like list and anything um of films I do consider perfect until I'm like absolutely sure. Because I do need to think it through, maybe watch it another time or two. It's going to be something that I'm really going to be thinking about. By the time you actually see this, maybe I'll have like made a determination. I don't know. But again, it's gonna come to a few different factors here. And like I said, I do want to hear the dub for this. Because it's like A24 got like this great cast with like Michelle Yeoh, who very clearly is playing like the female dragon. Like that's obvious. Um but yeah, I want to see how like the new dub is like compared to the one for the first movie, because the dub for the first movie wasn't that great. It wasn't. There were like a couple voices who were good, but as a whole it wasn't that great. And in that way it kind of reminds me of Whack Fu. Because the dub for the first like 2 or 3 seasons of Whack Fu was not good. But then it's like they suddenly brought in like these really big name voice actors for season 3. And it's like, oh, well, hello, quality English voice acting. I think it was the first 2 seasons and then season 3, because I don't think season 4 has a dub. At least not yet. Of course, I mean, after I watched season 4, like, in the French, I haven't watched it again. So, I mean, I can't say for 100% certain there. It might have gotten a dub by this point, but I don't know. But yeah, it's just like, I'm just so blown away. I just love this movie so goddamn much. And again, I'm gonna really have to think about it for like whether or not I think it actually is perfect, and like my placement with other movies I've reacted to and watched on my own time and stuff. There's just like so much to think about, and I want to watch it again, and I definitely will. Like, there's definitely going to be other reactors that'll get to it. I'm sure, like um, sort of stupid will get to it because they did the first one. So I'm sure they'll get to this now that it's officially released. I don't know how soon it'll be up on their channel, but I'm sure they will. And I'll probably see like other reactions to it pop up here and there. I know there was like one already. Um, I can't remember his name right now, but he had done it. I don't know if he lives in America though. I know he speaks fluent English, but I don't know because he got to that like after it was first released, like right when it was released, um, on digital in China and stuff. So he might be from China. I don't want to assume. I don't want to assume. He is Asian, by the way. I don't want to assume where he's from and everything. I don't know for sure, but I'm saying he got to that like right away. So it's like maybe he just found a copy online real quickly. I don't know. But yeah, either way, I just there's got to be a third one. Like they can't leave it off on that kind of on those big cliffhangers and stuff. And yeah, I can wait another 5 6 years for it if it's gonna retain like this quality or even once again surpass it. I am all good with waiting for this level of quality. I know there's a lot of people in the world today that are very impatient and that don't want to wait that long for sequels. That goes for like for new seasons of shows. That goes for sequels to movies, games, etc. I can wait because quality can sometimes take time, and I'm fine with giving them that time to make sure it's the best quality possible. So, yeah, if we don't see this before 2030, I am all okay with that. I am perfectly fine with that. As long as the quality we do get is even better and worth the wait. But I would love to hear in the comments below, what did you think of this movie? Did you love this as much as the first, more than the first, like I did? Did you find it to be perfect? Did you find like anything that you could find as an issue in this? Let me know. I'm always willing to hear any opinions, even if they're different than my own. Everyone is entitled to have their own opinions. It's all subjective. So please let me know in the comments below what you thought of Ne Zha 2. And thank you to Dice. I think I might have forgotten to mention you in the pre-thoughts, but Dice was the one who donated for this. So thank you to Dice for that, for your donation. And thank you to everybody who's been like asking about this and like since pretty much it came out, who have been wanting me to get to this since I did the first one and all. Thank you to everyone like for like pushing for this and like letting me know when things were coming, even though I did already know. Thank you for like showing this much interest in my reaction to this. That means a lot. But for the time being, I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.